Hi, everybody. How you doing? Uh, Let me do a sound check and a video check. Is everything okay? Hi, Donald and Mr. Grumby and Maurizio and NS something. Oh, good, 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 good. I can't help much for the content. Hi, Eddie. Hi, Mark. How you guys doing? Um, boy, let's see. Hey, Maynard in Japan. How you doing? Boy, it must be late there, or early in the morning or something. Hi, oh, hi, Bruce. How you doing, Richard? Joseph, Orange Hand. How are you? Good to see everyone. Um, okay. A number of things I wanted to talk about before I get to the project that we're sort of trying to move forward with. Um, the first thing is is the Grand Prix d'Horlogerie de Genève. Every year for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, we've had the Grand, what's it called, the Grand Prix picks, and excuse me, and we have watches of when the winners are announced. We have free watches for everyone. So not everyone, the people who win, we have three. The first one is for who picks the most, what are called pre-selected. The second one is for who gets the most winners chosen, and the third one is for the person who picks the. It's called the Aiguille d'Or, or the grand prize. It means the gold finger. So that's the gold finger. That's an old James Bond movie. So hi Tony, how you doing? Let's see. Okay, so anyway, September 1st, you'll be able to make your entries, and we'll run that until September 31st, or when they announce the pre-selected. The reason I say or is I've never seen GPHG ever do anything on time. They're usually either a month late or a week early. This time around, they've been early, but the whole project was set back a month. I mean, this is having its first time they've done it in the pandemic. Aiguille hand is right. Yes, Stefan, right? Ines something. Don't you have another name? I'll call you Ines something. But anywho, um, okay. So I wanted to say something about that. Hi, Andrew Jit. How you doing? Okay. No, name starts with N. Ah, okay. Hey, N. Um, Nelson, like in The Simpsons. Hi, Nelson. Or Ned, like our governor. Hi, Lee H. Hank Henry Harmonious. I don't know. Okay. Okay, not NH. All right. Okay, no, guys. So let's sort of see where we are right now and what we're gonna have to do. Let me see, get a bunch of this stuff. Okay. Just to sort of catch up where we are, we've got these three options. And the option this is the options we have with Agonor. The first option is to get an ETA and then have Agonor make the um, jumping hours and the retrograde minutes uh, with the ETA, and that's about 4,000. If we do it with the Vaucheur, it'd be about 5,000. And then the other option, a third option, is that Agonor takes one of their own movements, modifies it, and then puts on the complication. Puts on a module for the jumping hour, and this was sort of the idea, like this. And I'll put my hand over the bottom one, and essentially a disc underneath that rotates. It comes up with a jumping hour, and this one is a tad more complicated because it has two. It has dual time. Ours would only have one, and we're hoping to get it in a hand wound because that, I think, would also cut down on it. This one, by the way, has this incredibly neat. Um, I think it's right here. Inside of it is a micro rotor. Instead of having it out here, they have it. I don't know. Maybe you can see it from the back. This is the front. So anyway, that's by taking out the platinum one too. So it probably would add something to it. Um, okay. All right. So that's where we are now. This was last time, I think we talked about a name, and this is what I came up with. I think the name, we wanted it to be the first watch, and so I translated it from French, and it turns out to be Premier Montre, and then they want to have number one. So we have it's sort of redundant in a way, number one, but that's okay. Hi, Roberto. So anyway, the this is where we are right now in terms of what we'd like. Now, right here, the instead of having it on the bottom down here at 6 o'clock, I was thinking more at 8 o'clock, and sort of as to be a straight line from the center of the retrograde minutes to the right across to about 8 o'clock, where we could have the hour. Now, this is going to depend on where that would actually go. Is going to depend to some extent, probably to a great extent, on the size and positioning of the wheel they're going to use. So, and also we had this thing tilted from 11 to 5, so it wouldn't look like everybody else's that has it either up here or fully to the side. And it's also too based on when you look at your watch like this, just as a glance, you have a line coming down, sort of from about the 5 or 10 right down this way, and so something from 11 down to 5 o'clock is right where your eye would be, and then the jumping hour would be also in the same line. So that was the reasoning behind that. But what we need to do is figure out, okay, is this okay with everyone? Because the positioning of the retrograde minutes and where the positioning of the jumping hour disc is going to have to be decided. And once we decide on what we want it to look like, then we need to go on from there. It'd be cool to make sure we have a watchmaker lined up to assemble them, or have the possibility of getting like the case maker case them up. Okay, that's a really good point. NS something named H. Okay. Anyway, NS. That is going to be an option. Okay. I think what we can do is this: is you're in Canada, right? NS, I think NS something. You're up in Canada, and we got people all over the place: Europe, Asia, and Australia, and so this is going to be something we need to deal with. So anyway, hey, Beauty of Scent. Yeah, Canada. Okay. So this is something else. And I think that's an important thing to talk about, or to think about in terms of the planning. We got people all over the place. There you go, Beauty. It's Endeavor Center seconds. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. All right, to make an informed decision, it'd be helpful to see the three movement options from the back. After all, the watch will feature to display case back. Well, I agree on that one, but I don't think you can. First of all, if you want to see the back of ETA or a watch, sure, that's not too hard. You go to their website and you take a look at the back of it and see what it looks like. I don't think. Let me see. Yeah, you can go take a look at 2892. Go to eta.ch and you have all of the figures there, and you can see what the back of that would look like. Because I mean, the back of an ETA 2892 isn't going to change because everything they're putting on it is going to be on the front. Same with the VMF 3000. You can take a look at the back of those. Now here, what the back of the Voiture is going to look like, I don't know. And that the thing about the Voiture, I mean, not the Voiture, but the Agenor, is they're going to build into it the modifications. They're going to modify it in a way so that the retrograde and the jumping hour disc can go in there in a little flatter way. Sort of integrated into it. Whereas with the other two, they're going to be a little higher. I think they were estimating 3.9 millimeters for the ETA and Voiture, and 3.7 millimeters for the Agenor, which is a good deal thinner. So anyway. In looking for what it's going to look like, the back of it, you can find out two of them right away, and depending on how much modifications they do to the other one. But we can't say, oh, okay, go ahead and build this one, and then we'll look at the back and see if we like it. That's not going to work. What we need to do is to say, look, this is where we want our retrograde minutes, and this is where we want our jumping hours. And can you work around that? If at some point we need to do that, and to some extent we've already done it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, right. Well, I'm not going to assemble them. I'm going to assemble mine, and you'll have to get your own mallet and and anvils. Okay, let's see. Tell you, hey, Ines, if you know anybody on this side of the border, we can have them. You can drop by. Hi, jumping on for a quick update. Archie now hates you more than. Okay. Thank you, Clyde. I'm glad that changed from one to the other. Okay. Hi, Javier. How you doing? I like off-axis look in the mock-up. Yeah, this is the one I think. We've gone over this a lot, and we've got we have the sort of the 11 to 5 arc for the retrograde minutes, and then we have a straight shot down to the jumping hour, and that is one that we can do a whole lot with. Let me give you some other. Let me see. I think I have some more examples here. At one time, you may have remembered I was really into Metropolis, and so I made a Metropolis mock-up of it. And this is what my Metropolis would look like. Same thing, 11 to 5, and then straight shut over to 8 o'clock for the window. And so this is something else too, and I think Joseph's question was, we want to be able to see what we get, but on the other hand, there's no reason other than we're going to need this one sort of nailed down feature of where we're going to have the arc and where we're going to have the jumping hours. That we can't do much about once we get it in there. But once we have that, I mean, we have all kinds of things that we could do with a dial. We could have our own dials, and as long as our dial maker, whoever that might be, either we do it together, or you get one on your own. Of yeah, you can do it any way you want to. So it's one of those things that on the one hand, I think we want something really unique because there are watches something like this. I was see if I got one here. I was cleaned everything up. Well, here's one. Here's a Chanel with the retrograde minutes and the jumping hour down at 6 o'clock. And I think, let me see if I got any more. Not just the one I have here. But the thing of it is that I don't think, I mean, whatever we can do with this is the same way that a dial and sort of watch designer can do with, your traditional 12 to 12 circle, and then two hands or three hands or two hands and a subdial or something like that. We've got one hand and a window. And so that with those two things, we still have incredible amount of flexibility. Okay, doke. Let's see what you got going here. Okay. Um, yeah, Eddie, you're right. That's you're absolutely right about that. And this is one of the things we're going to need a very precise digital model because when we send it to Wouter Lannon and Kalin, they're going to need that. They're going to need the that kind of information. Um, you like Burgundy. Burgundy, that's another thing too. I got a feeling is that if we go back here, okay, um, this is sort of a burgundy brown, I guess. But we can have any color we want. There's no reason that we all have to have the same color. If we have a lighter color, then we might want to have a darker font for our. Well, I don't know. Is that name still good with you guys? What do you think? The Premier Montre. Does that name still work for you? Because this was what you guys came up with, or we came up with actually. All I did was agree. Um, so you can, as far as I'm concerned, person can put their own name on there or picture of their dog. It doesn't matter. It's the dial. What the big thing is getting squared away on what the getting squared away on what the movement is going to display and where it's going to display it. Once that's done, then the other parts are relatively easy. What we're dealing with. Oh, by the way, too, um, this was uh, the teardrop lugs from Wouter Lannon and Kalin. Okay, that we're looking at, and then when we put a watch in, and this isn't done. I mean, somebody artistically would do a lot better job than I did, but essentially, this is dropping this dial and movement into this case, and the if you want to go with a different case, either as a group or subgroup or whatever you want to do, there's no problem with that. The big thing though is that once we have the movement, I think then we're in pretty good shape. Okay, watch and pray. If we can agree on a single dial, we can likely drive the cost down. Yes, it's probably true. Um, but how much? I mean, it's sort of like if somebody hates a dial, it's we're not saving very much. But if we can all have the same one, yeah, we might be able to negotiate a better deal. I think we could. This is exactly what uh, Nicholas Viderek said. He said, well, if you have more people or more involved, we can get the price down. And my point was that we can get the price down, we can get more people, and so we're sort of in that kind of situation right now. Okay, rested hand on keyboard, getting used to iPad. All right. You love iPad. Ever since I got mine, stopped using my laptop. Okay. All right, let's see. Can you rapid fire some watch literature you recommend picking up? No, not rapidly. I tell you, I say get George two books: George Daniels' Watchmaking and The Art of Brigade. Those two, I think, would you'd be set for life. I think that's what the entire collection of F.P. Jordan was based on, those two books. But instead, if we have number one limited edition, okay, that's or rare. Okay, hey, Geezer, how you doing, man? Any estimates yet on the dial, case hands, and the class? Okay, good question. The dial, the only one I've talked to is VS Dial, because I was able to meet with him face to face, or I should say mask to mask. And what he told me was pretty much, I think I may have mentioned this last time. I'm not sure. No, that was, I guess, last time we talked. This was before I had a talk with him. This is what he said. He said that he'd been making his own watches with his own enamel dials and so forth for a while, but the size that we had would determine a lot of things that are extremely important that we're going to have to know about when we get the case. And that is, and I've run into this problem myself. I've gotten a case, and the width or the thickness of the dial can affect how the things fit into the case. Now, with the way we have, I think we're going to be able to have a pretty thin one, because the post that's going to have the jumping seconds doesn't have to be one of these double post or triple post where you put on the hour hand and then the minute hand and then the second hand. But rather, all you have to do is put on the jumping minutes and Bob's your uncle. That's it for it in terms of putting on the hand. So that part ought to be pretty easy. But what he said on the larger the watch is going to be, the wider it's going to be, the thicker the dial for an enamel. Okay, so that if you use too thin of a piece of metal with a larger dial, then you can run into trouble. Okay, so this is, and he said, well, how wide is it going to be? Well, I couldn't tell him exactly. I mean, it was because we wanted it to be 40 millimeters. I told him that. I said, we're sort of shooting for 40, even 39 wouldn't be bad. But I said it may be bigger than that. The hour here and the hour there is like 42 or 45 or something different like that. And they're going to have, I mean, with all of the stuff they're putting on the dial, because they've got to have enough room for the, let me see. I wish I had there's got to be enough room, and I'll just cover up one of them. Okay. Look at how much room on the dial the jumping hour takes up. Just one jumping hour. Okay. So, and this is the front view. I don't know what the back looks like. I'll have to look at, I suppose if we looked at the back of the hour here and hour there, we could get an idea, but I don't have that right with me right now. So we're sort of, I mean, the question's an excellent one. How much are these going to cost? Now, the case, the same thing. I asked for an estimate from Voutilanen and Kaelin. I said, about how much. They said, well, it would depend on the yada, 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 all of these things, including how many we're going to get. The more you get, the unit price goes down. So we're going to have to do this systematically and patiently, one step at a time. Okay, let's see. You happen to mention how much I'm enjoying my Hebdo Damari. Well, my understanding was, Clyde, is that you have carpal, what is that, carpal something syndrome from winding it. Yeah, you can have that. You're going to like it for the next 8 days, too. Okay, let's see. All right. Hey, Andrew, how you doing? How much does a case run? This is, see, all of these are great questions, but we can't, we sort of have a train, and then we've got to take it one step at a time, and we've got to focus on one thing at a time, because one determines the other. Once we get the case, once we get the movement, then we can move ahead with the case and the dial and everything else. Now, going back to NS something's thing, some of you I know don't like the idea of putting your own watch together with the case and so on and so forth. If my 84-year-old watchmaker, if I run into trouble, I'll run down to him and have him fix it, like he does with everything else I break. But with something like this, I think if once we have the movement, and then we can really get together with the case maker, then we'll have a really good fit. That becomes important. When I get one of these things, when I get this, I buy the dial and the hands from one guy, and then I don't know, and then the case comes from somewhere else. So I got a case, and sometimes they don't fit. And this is why that's going to be very important for us is to make sure that the case fits the movement. And we won't know how big it is until we have the movement. And then we have to sort of follow that sequence. And like I had said to just about everybody, is that this is going to take patience. And it's, I think that for something like this, having our own bespoke movement by Agenhor would just, to me, blow my mind. Okay, should we ask the dial maker what we need to tell the case maker then? Yes, good point, NS. That's a good point. Yeah, and I plan to do that. This is sort of the juggling we're going to have, is that once I get the movement, then I could go to I'll know the size that we'll need, at least of the width of I'm going to have the width of the case. So I'll have to make an arrangement first of all, with the case maker, and then go back to the dial maker and say, look, how thick will the dial be with an enamel dial of this dimension, and go from there. So that would be something I'd have to go on to. This project, this has got a lot of moving parts to it, and so like I said, we just got to get all of our ducks in a row, but we got to find out what the ducks are in the first place. 83-year-old is an experienced watchmaker. You bet your life it is. This guy is great. He likes to see me come in because I've got something other than a quartz watch or a cheap movement, and I'll let him work on anything. For your convenience, you should make an FB group for everyone interested instead of talking two streams. Eddie, you're prescience. Okay, as soon as you walked into your dorm room, you got smarter. I think that statue that you're looking at helped. I've already done that, and that's what I was going to talk about next. Okay, we have our own. It's called group now. It's a web page group, Facebook page group, and it's called Jumping. What's it called? jumping seconds project. Okay, that I figure was pretty descriptive. And there we can do a lot of this other stuff. The problem is my God. I mean, it used to be to make the Facebook page was that flick the switch and that was it. Now they got pages, they've got groups, then they got all these different kinds. And all I wanted was just, something where we could, very exactly what Eddie's talking about. So that's where we are on that. And so afterwards, what I did is that I have two rules on the for one. The first rule is let's keep focused on a project. Okay, there's so many different wonderful things about watches we can talk about, but for this web page, that's one rule. We get focus on the project. All right. Second rule is don't be a jerk. That's it. Those are the two rules, and I'm gonna have problems probably with both of them, but still, I think it's the kind of thing that we have to do where we can go through these. The other thing is that once we've taken a step, there are all kinds of people who say, "Wow, let's what about this or what about that or I want this different." No, that ain't gonna happen. That's not how you do a project. You make a decision, then you move on to the next step. And I think we've been making some pretty good progress, I think. Okay, let's see. Roommate moved in just a few hours ago. I've been chatting with him. Okay, Eddie's roommate's from California, so he's a cool dude. Let's see. Love to see how. Oh yeah, I can get all talking about movements. I get all of Twitter. We all should. I mean, we're doing this for fun. We're not doing it for work, and it's. I like working on projects anyway. Okay, Premier Monte conceived during the first lockdown, ordered the parts during the second lockdown, put during the third lockdown. Yeah, something like that. And that's exactly what happened. Okay, let's see. Okay, great. All right, FB group. How about retrograde watch project? Mark, it's already done. It's called Jumping Retrograde Project. All right, already done. Oh, geez, I've been wrestling with that stupid Facebook. I tell you, I've never seen worse instruction interface in my life, and I think I finally got it. So anyway, that's what to look for. I don't want to. Let's not confuse it, please. Okay, we'll email you about the group after this. Okay, um, it shouldn't be very difficult to do. And oh, maybe you should start a Facebook group. Okay, Clyde. Didn't know you already created. I just listened, man. So I told Eddie, I already did it. All right. Okay, so let's see where we are now. Clyde. Yeah, no, I put some questions there too. I had questions before it because this is one of the things that it's very difficult for us to do, and we have to figure out to do it. We're talking about a commitment of a minimum of $4,000. That's the cheapest movement that we can get from Agenor. Okay. If we had 25 of us, we could all go and get a brochure, but that wouldn't do us much good because then we'd have to get everything else for it. So if we're going to have this particular watch, we're pretty well tied into this. Okay, one of these three, and so that was the questions I asked. How much can you afford to commit? And I think those are reasonable questions. And if somebody says, look, I just want to, hang out here and jabber, I don't think that's what we need for this project. We're going to have to move ahead with it. And if someone says, well, I can't afford any of those. That's realistic. Now, that's just for the movement. And I didn't ask anything really beyond the movement because I figured, well, you could get the movement, then later on you could get, the other parts. I know that's possible, but, it'd be a little more awkward. And I'm hoping that that someone's not going to jack us up on the case. I'm going to talk to Ophion too. They bought all of their cases from Voutilanen and Kalen. And by the way, too, Ophion put their watch up at the Grand Prix as I think they have it in the challenge category. I'm not sure, but I thought, boy, wouldn't that be fun? We'll put up the Montre Premier, Premier Montre #1 for a Grand Prix award. Okay, let's see. Hey, Mark, that's what I use too. Good excuse like that. Did you wash behind your ears? Yes. Anyway. Okay, so now listen on this web group. It's called, I guess it's FB. They have a FB page and they have an FB group. And I did it with a group, and I think it's the same. I think it's okay. I mean, because I think that's what everything else is right now. FYI, I sent a request to join the group to be updated. Although I don't think I have the budget now, I can stay quiet not to hold things up. One of the things, yeah, Eddie. I mean, this is one of the things. Maybe you can work something out so you can put it together for some people and get enough to do it. Yeah. Okay. Well, someone's got to keep in line, Mark. That's true with all of us. So I think we'd all be in the poorhouse were it not. Okay. So, all right. You're 8 minutes over. Okay, I get the hint. That is sort of a verbal way of giving me the hook. Boom, off I go. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to be fooling around with that new FB page, and it's called Jumping Retrograde Project. Okay, combined jumping hours and retrograde minutes project. Terribly clever, I thought. All right, we'll see you guys later. Take care and be safe.